Welcome to Shomach Shov on the Daf. She responds to Lui Nishma Sami Akashom Le'Abasitzchok. We're holding in Horayos Daf Yudalid, the last Daf of Maseches Horayos, and the end of Seder Nezikin. The last words of the Masechto, the Gemara says, Ibailu Rabbi Zero v'Rabba Bar Matno Haimina Yodif. Who's greater, Rabbi Zero or Rabba Bar Matno? What's the difference? Says the Gemara, Zero Chori from action. He asks a lot of clever questions. For Rabba Bar Matno Motunu Masek. He goes very slow and he gets to the conclusion of halacha. Ben Yoda explains over here, what's the discussion? Of course, someone who gets halacha, he's greater than the one who just asks questions. Says Ben Yoda, of course, the pshat is that they both come to halacha. But the question is how? Do you come to the halacha by just going slow and figuring out the halacha? Or by going back and forth with questions and answers, and question and answers, that's how you get to halacha. He says, the more questions you have, the more shakal v'tar you have, you get to more clarity. As we know, it says, why Talmida Yoisei Mikulam? Because they are the ones asking questions back and forth, they try to figure out. The more questions you ask, the more clarity you have. And the Gemara brings that when Rish Lakish died, so they brought someone else to learn with Rabbi Yechanan. Rabbi Yechanan was not happy. He says, when I said something to Rish Lakish, he used to ask questions back and forth. And he immediately were able to figure out the sugya. But you agree with everything I say. I can't come out to a clarity in the sugya. So it says the Ben Yoda, really, Rav Zero and Rabba Bar Matno, they need each other. Rav Zero is the one who asks all the questions, and Rabba slowly is able to answer it. So Rabba needs the questions of Rav Zero to get to the conclusion, and Rav Zero needs Rabba to answer his questions. So the shaila is, who's greater? The one who asks the questions, the one who's asking back and forth, or the one who comes to the conclusion through the questions? And the more stays with the takeaway. That's what the Ben Yoda explains here, the discussion in the end of the Gemara. We have to understand what's pshat, and that's how we end the Masechto. And in our Seder, this is how we end Seder Nezikin. Is there a message over here? Senir Elohim as follows. The Mishnah on Boabaso, towards the end of Boabaso, Nafkoi Kufayin Ham with Bey says, Someone wants to be smart, wants to have chachma, he should deal with dini mamanis, which is Seder Nezikin. So the Chazal Sofer points out, in another place he says in the name of the Baal HaFlo, that the Gemara in Shabbos says, Darshan the Pasuk, Vayeh ayo imunas itecho choisin yeshuas chochmas v'das. The heavy word of this pasuk refers to another Seder. And what is the Seder which we call chochmas? That is Seder Kachim. Seder Kachim gives you chochma. So how does that fit with the Mishnah Bobasa that says, Haroitza sheyachim yasuk v'dini mamnes? Is dini mamnes giving you chochma? Or it's Kachim that gives you chochma? So how does the Chazal Sofer, the pshat is, someone who wants to be chacham and to learn Kachim, in order to get there, he needs to learn first Nezikin. Haroitza sheyachim wants to learn Seder Kachim, yasuk v'dini mamnes before. And he explains a little bit that the pshat is that in Nezikin, the chacham with his das is able to figure out so many things, and when a person develops himself that way, he's able to learn kachim, which is a chachma. After that, with the Aflo brings the Ponim Yofos in the beginning of Parshat Mishpatim, that he explains that Nezikin is very different than any other miktzah, any other subject in Torah, because Nezikin is specifically dependent on a person's das. We have to go, a person sees a case, some Nezikin, and he has to go and through people, going back and forth and try to figure out with questions and answers, he's able to understand how to pass in this case. You medami mil, so you're comparing it to different things. It's not how you have a pasuk for each thing. You have just the idea and you have to come and develop it. And this was the Tiferes Yisrael and Mishnayos brings over there in Boabasu, that there's nothing medini HaTorah that was given rishus for the seichel to go and develop and capture and create like dini mamis. Everything else is a very clear halacha we have to do, but dini mamis you develop it with your own mind. So says the Chazal Sofer, when a person develops dini mamis, so then he can get to the chachma of kachim to understand the chachma that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us in inyonei kachim. Kachim, which is a very clear thing, you have to come and figure out what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants through the psukim of the Torah. You can't make anything based on your mind. Once you develop your mind so much, now you can really understand the divrei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It sounds very much This is the two things we have over here in discussion in the Gemara. We have the Choref Makshe and Motur Masik. Choref Makshe is he develops, he questions, he compares, he uses his mind to come and figure out something. Motur Masik is trying to figure out what Akash Baruch Hu is telling us, slowly to figure out the words. In other words, Choref Makshe is more Nezikin dik, and Motur Masik is more Seder Kochim dik. And according to the Chas Sofer, in order to reach the Motur Masik of Seder Kochim, you have to go through the Choref Makshe Seder Nezikin. So says the Gemara, Haminai Adif, what's greater? Take we're not sure, because you need both. You need the Seder Nezikin to reach Seder Kochim. In order to get to the Choref Kochim, you need Nezikin, and vice versa. So maybe this is the reason this is brought down over here. This is the crossroad from Nezikin to Kochim, and we talk about the two different limudim of Nezikin and Kochim. And with this, we're Messiahim, the Shiuri Short Machshava on Maseches Horayos, and of Seder Nezikin, the B'siyata Ishmaya, we're zoichet to have a shir on every daf of the Seder. Akash Baruch Hu should give us koiches to continue on and have it on the entire Shas. Mazel tov to all the Messiahim. Anyone who wants to join the Shom Machshava, email us to WhatsApp, please email shommachshava@gmail.com.